after they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be exposed, right?
Ain't nobody around to tell them what to do, and they just get to act a fool. Free Beyonce.
We've all watched the Carter dynasty move through the years like a glossy royal parade. Yet there's always been one velvet-covered secret right at its heart. For seasons on end, followers have studied every paparazzi flash and family project, asking the same quiet question: why do we almost never glimpse Sir Carter, Beyonce and Jay-Z's youngest son, the boy who arrived with cosmic fanfare on that June night in 2017, and then slipped into the background, as if the spotlight itself scorched? We see his twin sister Rumi glide across luxury stadium suites. We cheer when Blue Ivy pirouettes on arena stages, and we marvel at how effortlessly these heirs have woven themselves into the cultural fabric. But Sir remains a whisper, a footnote, a silhouette behind a gated archway, while the rest of the family dazzles on yachts and Met Gala steps.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
Now, Tina Knowles, the clan's honey-voiced matriarch, recently fanned the intrigue with her own tidbit. She described Rumi as a natural little star, while calling Sir more into books and electronics very, very smart. It sounded harmless. Grandmothers adore placing niceties on their grandbabies, yet to conspiracy-hungry fandoms, that single quote rang like an alarm bell. Reserved, cerebral, hidden, it fed the murmurs already threading through stan forums that perhaps Sir isn't merely shy. Perhaps he carries a condition the Carter PR machine refuses to acknowledge. The word autism pops up in late-night threads, hashtags bloom, and suddenly a whole subgenre of TikTok sleuths claims they've decoded silent micro-expressions in old home video flashes. We can't ignore how the theory aligns, at least aesthetically, with what we know about Beyonce's iron fortress of privacy. She lives by lockdown schedules, color-coded security, whisper-level non-disclosure agreements thicker than LA smog. Remember the obstetrics wing in that Manhattan hospital turned into a corporate bunker back in 2012? Blue Ivy's arrival set a precedent. No one breaches the immediate orbit of Queen Bey's progeny without a laminated pact. So when fans claim the couple ordered yet another series of NDAs, this time for pediatric specialists, private therapists, maybe even household staff, we find ourselves leaning forward. Did a hush-hush medical briefing occur in which a soft-spoken specialist outlined a developmental diagnosis, and did the Carter empire swiftly decide that total invisibility was the only way to preserve the family's immaculate public mythos?
10 years.
Oh, Mr. Diddy, aka Mr. Love. Now, Dr.
No, Sean Carter.
The irony gushes thicker than haute couture maple syrup. Beyonce's brand hinges on radical self-love, inclusivity, and telling everyone to shine. Jay-Z often declares that legacy is more important than currency, yet the dynasty's youngest prince appears cocooned in shadow. Is Sir's near absence a mother's ferocious shield, or a father's cold calculation to keep a perceived imperfection from blemishing the billion-dollar dynasty? Every new paparazzi reel of Rumi dancing on stadium turf feels like an unspoken comparison. Where's her twin? And why, when Blue Ivy can tour the world, does Sir stay cloistered? We're left picturing hushed late-night negotiations, Blue Ivy leaning against the hallway wall, overhearing adults debate brand optics, while Sir flips through coding workbooks in the next room.
10 years.
Mr. Diddy, aka Mr. Love. Now, Dr.
No, Sean Carter.
The speculation only grows heavier when we pivot to Jay-Z's own contentious fatherhood history. The mogul famously dodged court-ordered DNA testing for nearly a decade as aspiring musician Rymir Satterthwaite insisted that he, too, is a Carter son. Rymir's claim never fully evaporated. It simply bounced between dusty legal clerks and tabloid covers, leaving a stain that J-suits have never scrubbed clean. So we find ourselves looking at a man who may have one unacknowledged heir fighting in family court, another heir potentially sheltered due to developmental complexities, and a whole empire of vintage vinyl and investment portfolios to protect. How far would a boardroom-bred perfectionist go to maintain the legend of a flawless bloodline? It's worth remembering that Jay-Z grew from Marcy Project survival to boardroom billionaire by controlling every variable: beats, brands, even beefs. Admitting vulnerability, especially through an offspring's diagnosis, could rattle stock projections and collaborative deals. We shudder thinking of internal meetings where Roc Nation executives whisper about insurance disclosures, sponsorship clauses, cinematic biopics, all those glittering ventures at risk if investors sniff instability. So the easier route may be to erase Sir from the public grid entirely, deploying curt press statements about privacy while the real story remains sealed in encrypted hospital files.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
Fans, meanwhile, compile breadcrumbs. Sir reportedly speaks less during family vacations, favoring structured tasks over backstage excitement. TikTok lip readers swear they've caught him wearing special sensory headphones on rare boat deck cameos. We see Beyonce launching a whiskey line named Sir Davis, and the internet erupts. Was that a coded tribute or guilt-tinged marketing nod to a youngster kept out of view? Comments fly. Ma'am, we need the Sir visuals. The singer smiles and pivots to elegant press quotes about ancestral moonshiners, but never once clarifies whether her 7-year-old had any say in lending his name to a spirits bottle he won't legally taste for more than a decade.
God in there. So at what age then did you start to question, who your parents could be?
Well, I wouldn't say I started to question it, but I said around like 7, maybe 6. And I think it started at 6. And my mom was just telling me that my father wasn't my father, but as a kid, I really didn't look.
All of this plays out while a separate storm circles Jay-Z. The resurfaced allegations from Rainier accusing him of paternal abandonment, court filings paint a soap opera swirl, handwritten affidavits, long-lost signatures, a mother who once dated the teenage Sean Carter, and countless delays that kept swabs from ever touching cotton. Imagine being Sir leaping through old magazine piles one day and discovering an older half-brother, flashing the same jawline on morning talk shows, claiming the throne that Sir hardly even knows exists. The psychological weight alone would drive a protective Beyonce to double down on seclusion.
I was a kid and I honestly didn't know what she was talking about. But, I did hear her, as I got older, 7, 8, 9, 10, and she continued with the same story. My mom wasn't crazy. She gave us everything. She would give if she said give your life up for your kids right now, it wouldn't take a second for her to give her life up. She was just a lovely person, like everyone who knew my mom.
But our intrigue doesn't chill there. Industry insiders mutter that hideaway mansions in Bel Air and the Hamptons have been quietly retrofitted with sensory-friendly rooms, muted lighting, acoustic panels, therapeutic swings. One interior designer bragged at a wine bar launch, pardon a fine vintage soiree of grape elixirs, that she lined hallways with art prints featuring calm ocean motifs for a special young client who loves patterns. She grinned, caught herself, then clammed up as her publicist nearly fainted. The court of public opinion filled in the blanks immediately.
I got older and my mom just continued to say the same thing, and she never changed the name. She always was staying with the same name. I'm like, well, Mom, why? Like, as I got to 16, 17, I'm like, Mom, you've been saying this since I was a kid. So it's like, now my mom never lied to me, so why not?
Meanwhile, Ye, never one to skip a microphone, threw gasoline on the Carter rumors with a bizarre online rant referencing the twins and mental capacity. Ye deleted it faster than a Vegas magician yanks silk from a fist, but we captured the screenshots. The wounds reopened like clockwork. Kim Kardashian scolded her former partner for aiming rhetorical missiles at minors, and even Ye conceded feeling bad before instantly backtracking. Yet the damage lingered. Once a speculation surfaces, digital memory never forgets. And so, as we sift through whispers of hospital, NDA, and secret diagnoses, as we weigh Jay-Z's alleged pattern of paternity evasions, we're left confronting a larger, darker question. What if the Carter Empire's gleaming narrative, self-care anthems, generational wealth, perfect photo ops, is precisely powered by what it hides? Every time Beyonce posts a diamond-lit family portrait missing her youngest son, we find ourselves staring at the empty space where Sir should stand. The absence screams louder than any press release.
So we just fought it. Like, it was never to chase anyone or make anyone feel like, we just trying to come up with a plan to take your money. I don't want your money. That's not what I'm here for. I'm really here to just find the truth out, and it seemed like that was just so hard to do in these courts. Like, these courts are not here.
We can't escape the sense that Sir represents a delicate fault line. If rumors prove true, the world might finally witness a megawatt couple choosing personal compassion over corporate polish. Or conversely, a kingdom willing to silence its own flesh and blood to preserve the myth. And if Jay-Z truly has another offspring, older and legally fighting for recognition, then one day the courtroom transcripts could collide with Sir's story, shattering the curated image in a single gavel bang. For now, we watch, we theorize, we listen to the hush between Beyonce's meticulously curated social posts. We imagine late-night hotel suites, where bodyguards sweep entrances while a top-tier behavioral specialist slips through service corridors. We picture Blue Ivy practicing her blockbuster voiceover lines while Sir quietly reprograms a handheld game console under soft lamplight. We can almost hear the anxious clink of that whiskey bottle named after him, a liquid tribute that tastes suspiciously like public distraction. And somewhere beyond the camera flashes, Rymir Satterthwaite continues rallying social media support, insisting that the dynasty's gatekeepers won't dodge DNA science forever. He pledges fresh legal filings, claims new witnesses, vows to push until the truth surfaces. Every move he makes drags Sir deeper into the swirl, linking two boys who've never met but who might share more than just a surname.
It's not just about me. If I gotta fight for all of us, I will, but I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z, and no, I won't let no one just walk over me and tell me something because y'all just saying this. I want the truth. And if we can't go to the Supreme Courts, the regular courts, to find out the truth, what are they here for?
Yeah, all right. We'll get to the legal things that you've been through, the battles.
We're left wondering whether the Carter empire can keep both storms from merging, one fueled by a rumored condition, the other by an unacknowledged bloodline. Because if those clouds converge, the fallout could rewrite pop culture lineage as we know it, spilling boardroom secrets and family confessions across every feed on the planet. And that tipping point feels nearer every day. Just when we thought the Carter Chronicles couldn't twist any tighter, another name rumbles through industry corridors. Rymir Satterthwaite. We've watched him for years, a soft-spoken Philadelphia dreamer who insists his birth certificate deserves a signature from Sean Corey Carter himself. His story begins long before Rockefeller, sparkling water ever sprayed over platinum plaques, a fleeting New Jersey romance in the 1990s, a teenage Sean still selling demo tapes out of car trunks, an intimate night that allegedly led to one very real life. Rymir, now in his late 20s, carries nothing but a stack of court filings, faded photographs of his mother, and a striking Carter jawline that seems to do all the shouting for him. He first petitioned family court in 2011, begging for a simple mouth swab. Instead, he met a legal labyrinth designed, according to his supporters, to exhaust the ordinary and protect the extraordinary.
Basically, my mom was at a show, and she was with a friend. And I know, I guess her and her friend stayed to, after the show, he was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but you know, I guess females, when the show is over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who perform. She said she went up there.
We've poured over the docket. Motions to dismiss, jurisdiction shuffles, sudden procedural errors that conveniently pushed hearings onto quiet calendars. Each time, a judge hinted at compelling a paternity test. Heavyweight attorneys arrived like well-tailored storm clouds, citing technicalities and privacy rights their client fiercely guards. Yet whispers refuse to settle. A former paralegal from a Trenton clerk's office swears she saw the figure $10 million scribbled on an internal memo, allegedly an early settlement attempt that vaporized when Rymir's family refused to sign a lifetime silence clause. Another insider, an LA crisis management consultant who once handled sports scandals, claims the offer later ballooned to mid-8 figures, with Rymir would vanish overseas. We can't confirm the exact number, but the pattern is unmistakable. Stall, stifle, spend whatever it takes to ensure the Carter pedigree appears spotless.
He took them to some apartment building, and you know, they did what they did in there. You know, talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess had, you know, I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was this, and I honestly just believe it. You know, it's just no doubt.
Rymir hasn't vanished. Instead, he's weaponized social media, posting side-by-side photos of himself and Jay-Z at similar ages, their identical dimple pulling the internet into frenzied comparison. The hashtag #TakeTheTest trends every few months, transforming the young man's heartbreak into a digital rallying cry. Meanwhile, he lives in a modest duplex, tutors neighborhood teens in songwriting, and watches his alleged father buy seaside mansions, private jet wine cellars, and designer chess sets for boardrooms he might never enter. The disparity is cinematic, a self-made mogul who preaches generational wealth yet allegedly leaves one potential heir on the outside looking in.
I don't have no felonies, I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, you know, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
What is Sean Carter so afraid of? We can almost hear the number crunchers calculating brand risk. An acknowledged adult offspring means retroactive estate splits, headlines about hidden betrayals, and questions about that celebrated marriage built on trust. Corporate partners from streaming giants to haute couture houses could demand morality reassurances. And imagine tour merch stands flooded with parody tees plastered boldly. 444 Paternity Edition. The entire Carter mythology, built on redemption arcs and family unity, could tilt. We've seen empires stumble for far less. So where does Beyoncé stand in this expanding fault line? Publicly, she remains Sphinx-like, presenting choreographed perfection and quoting empowerment anthems. Yet insiders insist the tension has reached their private chef's kitchen. One creative director who toured with Beyoncé during Renaissance rehearsals confided that she pleaded for closure behind closed doors, arguing that transparency would align with the honesty she sells on every stadium catwalk. Jay allegedly countered with cold logic. Expose one secret, and competitors, tabloids, even class action lawyers will sniff for more. We picture late-night conversations in their Malibu compound, spotlights off, security detail distant, where marital vows clash with corporate caution.
It's interesting because, you know, obviously this civil suit was coming for a while.
Yep.
And there was some talk between Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers. I think both Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers are really alphas.
Meanwhile, Tina Knowles has slipped into full protective lioness mode. We watched her at that Remember My Name ball, radiating poise, yet her eyes darted whenever questions turned to family matters. Sources say she's quietly arranged counseling for the twins, hoping to buffer them from playground gossip should Ramir's story explode. Remember, Rami is already stepping into camera's glow, and Sir, though nearly invisible to the public, is acutely aware of any tremor shaking the household. We can almost imagine Tina urging Beyoncé to shield the youngsters, pressing comfort into tiny shoulders while whispering, "No matter what happens, you're loved." It's a tender image, but it underscores the cost of keeping cracks hidden. Silence breeds speculation, and speculation seeps through even the strongest vault doors.
You know, a lot of times lawsuits are like playing poker. Like even when you feign, you know, that you have strength, it could be that you have some weakness in your case. So Busby's never going to say that he doesn't have the evidence. I mean, Busby's always going to say he's got the evidence. He's always going to say, oh, we're going to look at multiple other people, we're going to do all this, because he wants to put that fear into that individual.
We rarely pause to consider the silent burden resting on Sir's own shoulders. From the moment he entered the world, his birth certificate became a trending topic, yet the boy behind the headline was instantly sequestered behind tinted car windows and facial blur bars. We picture him scrolling through endless fan art that renders him as an animated silhouette, a curated void where personality should bloom. In such a vacuum, how does a youngster distinguish his own heartbeat from the relentless pulse of the Carter brand? Identity formation usually happens in mirrors and playground echoes. For Sir, the mirror is coded in parental strategy, and the playground is a fortified estate lawn patrolled by security earpieces. Experts on developmental psychology tell us that youngsters construct self-worth by witnessing how peers and strangers react to them. Sir paradoxically experiences global fascination without reciprocal recognition. He feels the vibrations, camera shutters firing outside the gate, trending hashtags spelling his name, but he rarely sees reciprocal faces connecting with his presence. That mismatch can seed cognitive dissonance. The world insists you matter, yet no one is allowed to experience your ordinariness. We have to wonder if social interactions feel staged, as though every new friend might secretly be a tabloid stringer in disguise, recording innocuous comments for future clickbait.
And here's the thing, even if the limitations ran, it doesn't stop her from filing a police report. It doesn't stop her from giving a statement to the police. It still backs up some things. And don't forget, in federal court, he could still be swept up into a RICO. There could be other sorts of actions that took place over time, and all of those would relate back.
Then comes the sibling dynamic. Blue Ivy commands stadium roars, Rumi flits across red carpets with photogenic confidence, but Sir functions in negative space, defined by absence rather than activity. When siblings shine under Klieg lights, the one left backstage can internalize the message that invisibility equals safety. Does he perceive the tacit family rulebook? Step into the glare only when perfection is guaranteed. If so, every misstep becomes existential. A spilled smoothie on a school tablet might feel momentarily catastrophic, not for the mess, but for the imagined headline it could birth if word escaped the compound walls. We should also consider the psychological load of secrecy itself. Family therapists warn that youngsters who grow up guarding an overarching private narrative can develop hypervigilance, eyes darting for breaches, ears tuned to whispers. Sir may have learned to gauge the room before speaking, scanning faces for any sign of curiosity that veers too close to his private world. Over time, that vigilance can morph into either refined emotional intelligence or chronic anxiety, depending on the support network. While Tina's counseling may buffer the impact, the underlying question lingers. Does he feel he must be flawless before the curtain rises? The Carter Empire's educational resources are boundless, and insiders claim Sir immerses himself in coding languages, logic puzzles, and advanced robotics kits shipped from European labs. Intellectual mastery can become both refuge and armor, a domain where algorithms obey predictable rules unlike the capricious celebrity circus. Yet prodigious talent, when nurtured in isolation, risks turning into a pressure cooker. If every solved equation is met with the glow of parental relief, no paparazzi required, the line between genuine passion and familial duty can blur faster than any algorithmic output.
Respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right? In addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right? That she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in.
Inevitably, adolescence will knock. Hormonal storms rarely honor security protocols. At some point, Sir will crave unfiltered experiences, a midnight drive with friends, a sloppy first crush, laughter unmonitored by risk assessment teams. Will he push back against the velvet barricades, demanding agency, or will he internalize the dynasty's unspoken contract? Privacy in exchange for complicity. Either path carries cost. Rebellion could splinter the image Beyonce and Jay-Z have polished for decades. Compliance might harden into quiet resentment, a private dissonance that no platinum plaque can soothe. We are left contemplating the broader moral ledger. What does it profit a dynasty to gain flawless optics if its youngest heir never fully inhabits his own reflection? The Carter narrative risks becoming a mirror maze in which Sir's authentic self ricochets, refracted into narratives curated by parents, fans, and corporate partners. Every empire writes its legend, but legends built on strategic omissions sometimes mutate into cautionary tales. As public suspense escalates, the most compelling chapter may be the one authored by Sir himself, if he is ever allowed to hold the pen. The saga grows thornier when we factor in legacy math. Jay-Z once told Kevin Hart, "Time is all you have," a line fans hold up as proof that he values family above all. Yet Ramir's timeline shows over a decade of unanswered pleas. The contrast is jarring, and we're left wondering which version of Sean Carter is real, the reflective patriarch rethinking priorities, or the fiercely strategic brand builder who litigates unwanted storylines into oblivion. Could both personas coexist, ripping him apart as time limits approach? That internal tug-of-war might explain why he reportedly personally phones lawyers after midnight, cross-checking confidentiality clauses the way most of us check grocery lists.
So, civil complaint, simply allegations, need to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
Add to this hurricane the rumble of unrelated scandals swirling around the couple's inner circle. West's volatile rants, Diddy's courthouse drama, even Cassie's legal revelations casting fresh shadows over industry power players. Each scandal increases scrutiny. Investigative podcasts sniffing around comms have begun cross-referencing Carter contracts. One upcoming episode promises to reveal the real reason. Jay-Z backed out of an LVMH partnership meeting the same week a New Jersey judge almost compelled DNA sampling. Coincidence or carefully choreographed retreat? We raise an eyebrow. We'd be foolish to overlook the domino effect on Beyoncé's own ventures. Her new Sir Davis whiskey line, a toast to ancestral bootlegging, could face boycotts if fans believe the brand name exploits a son who can't step in front of cameras. Already, bartenders on music festival circuits report overhearing patrons debating whether to order the star's signature pour or stick to something less shady. These are micro ripples now, but they tend to swell into tidal waves if not managed. And if investors smell instability, they'd redirect funds faster than a viral challenge changes dance moves.
And I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Still, at the center stands Ramir, refusing to fade. He's filed fresh paperwork this spring, emboldened by recent changes in New York's Adult Survivors Act and an appellate opinion that jurisdictions should bend toward truth, not technicality. Legal analysts predict a new hearing could materialize within months. If that happens, the court may finally compel a simple cotton swab, an act that takes seconds, yet could rewrite music history. Imagine world feeds blinking, Jay-Z paternity confirmed, while financial analysts recalculate inheritance projections in real time. The Carter throne seats might suddenly feel very crowded. And what of Sir Carter when that headline lands? We suspect Beyonce will race to control the narrative, perhaps revealing her son's challenges, whatever they may be, as a testament to resilience, turning private pain into public inspiration. Or, more provocatively, she might leverage the distraction to deepen secrecy, presenting Sir only through lyrical metaphors and black and white visuals. Either path changes how fans interpret every lyric, every Grammy speech, every Ivy Park drop from here on out.
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
He can't shake the sense that every Carter appearance now doubles as crisis theater. When Jay-Z flashes his trademark grin at NBA courtside seats, is he genuinely relaxed or calculating how that photo might offset tomorrow's gossip? When Beyoncé posts a filtered family portrait, is she celebrating motherhood or strategically filling a data void to bury unflattering chatter? We watch body language, ring placement, the spacing between spouses, even the selection of caption emojis, searching for subliminal cues. If the court forces DNA transparency, will Jay-Z stand beside Rymir on courthouse steps, framing reconciliation as a new chapter? Will Beyoncé welcome Rymir's mother with olive branch brunch in Bel Air Gardens, cameras conveniently invited? Or will legal teams craft a polished statement about mutual respect and privacy, bargaining a sealed settlement while the public moves on to the next influencer meltdown? The stakes stretch far beyond paternal acknowledgement. They reach into brand valuations, philanthropic credibility, and the Carter legacy taught in future music business seminars. One thing is certain: the Carter Empire's golden walls are rattling. We're witnessing unprecedented convergence, an alleged hidden son demanding recognition, a possibly neurodivergent heir tucked from view, mounting external scandals, nipping at the perimeter, and a grandmother frantically patching moral armor between school runs. The family's billion-dollar mosaic suddenly looks less like unbreakable stained glass and more like fragile sugar art shimmering under studio spotlights, beautiful, yet alarmingly brittle. And so we stand on the precipice with them, waiting. Will the Carters pull off another masterclass in damage control, spinning adversity into platinum? Or will suppressed truths burst through like floodwaters, washing away the pristine tableau? The answer could reshape not only hip-hop royalty, but how the public judges power, honesty, and bloodline in the streaming age.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate, and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He's about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
Every rumor, every legal filing, every unexplained absence pulses toward an irreversible moment. One court order, one Instagram confession, one paparazzi shot, too raw to filter. We can almost taste the tension in the air, thick as stadium fog before the headliner hits the stage. Are we inches from a legacy-shattering revelation, or simply witnessing another calculated Carter crescendo before they pivot to new heights? They say dynasties rarely collapse from violence. They crumble from the secrets whispered within their halls. We've opened the door. The question now, will the truth stride out proudly or explode the castle from inside? We're buckling in for whatever comes, because the next headline could rewrite pop culture genealogy forever. Do you believe Jay-Z will finally stand beside Rymir Satterthwaite and face the swab? Will Beyoncé choose transparency over quiet? Drop your predictions, pick your side, and let the comment storm begin. Until the next bombshell rocks the timeline, stay curious, stay bold, and keep your notifications on. We'll be right here when the curtain drops.